So good morning. I had a lot of questions last week regarding the changes to the furlough scheme coming from the 1st of July. And although I touched on these in last week's tax news, there still seems to be some confusion. Below this video is the written version of what I'm about to say, because I think it's useful to have that available to digest in your own time. But in line with all that we're trying to do, I thought I'd also do the video version. So from the 1st of July, workers can be brought back on a part-time flexible basis rather than on the current all or nothing basis that the furlough is undertaken on. This is a month earlier than was originally announced. When they come back on the flexible basis, they still need to be topped up to whatever their original pay was. So let's say they originally worked 40 hours a week and were paid £2,000 a month. Their furlough pay would be 2,000 times 80%, which is 1,600. If they returned 2 days a week, which is 16 hours on it, they would now have to be paid 16/40ths at £2,000 a month. That's £800 by the employer for the actual work they're doing, and 24/40ths at £2,000 a month at 80%, being £960 of furlough pay. So you're splitting the two elements of furlough pay and actual work done pay. The actual work done pay is not reclaimable by you, the employer, whereas the furlough pay is. You still have to finance these as you would previously. There's no change to that. The most obvious question that could come from this is, what is the normal hours of the employee? I think reference to that would have to be made to the average of the previous year in the way that furlough pay has already been calculated. So whatever you are using as your normal for current furlough pay would become the normal for this period. The other thing to note is that an employee who's going to be brought back under a furlough basis must have previously been furloughed in full under the current coronavirus job retention scheme before the 30th of June in order to qualify for this. So if you've never furloughed them before, you're not going to be able to now suddenly use this to put them on furlough. But if you have at some point previously, they can be used for this. The cut-off date is the 10th of June, so they must have been on that furlough before the 10th of June. And they must have had that furlough previously submitted and agreed in order to qualify for this. Points to bring into the changes to the scheme that are not as fundamental as the ability to have somebody on a part-time basis is that from the 1st of July to the end of August, the government will only pay for the gross salary on refund. They won't then cover the pension contributions made under auto-enrolment and the employer's national insurance. So from the 1st of July, there is starting to be an employer's contribution at that stage. This means the amount that you can claim as a refund will start reducing. From the 1st of August, that will still be there. And then in September, the gross salary that can be refunded from the government will reduce from 80 to 70%. And then in October, from 70 to 60%. Then at the end of October, the scheme ends completely. So any employee on furlough at that stage must be brought back, or uh, and is at your own expense. Something that we learned this week as well: if you make an employee redundant whilst on furlough, the furlough refund that you have received needs to be repaid to the government, which means that you really do need to bring workers back for a week, 2 weeks before considering any redundancies that are going to be necessary. I think that's quite an important point to note, as I certainly have had a discussion with one or two clients who unfortunately are going to have to make some redundancies. And that wasn't previously a condition of the furlough scheme, and it now will be. Okay, I hope that helps everyone understand some of the changes to the scheme coming. The written part is below. This is still a developing topic. Rishi Sunak has said there will be no further changes to the furlough scheme, but I think as any complications arise, I think there might well be some clarification. So please do continue watching this space.